I'd say the most common thing when people are starting out making games, the biggest and most devastating mistake that you can make when you're starting is starting on a big game. Never, ever start on a game that takes more than a few months to make. Ever. Because you won't finish it. It'll be horrible because it's your first game. Your first game's gonna suck. Like everybody needs to know that. Like your first game won't be good. It just won't. And if it somehow magically is pretty good, that means that you're gonna be a really good designer eventually. But you learn as you go. And your first game as an independent, when it's 1 or 2 people, it's gonna suck. And if you spend a year, 2 years, 3 years on it, that's a lot of wasted time. And it's just biting off more than you can chew. Like never get super ambitious. Do like the most basic possible things so you can learn. Because when you're making your first 5 games, it's all learning. That's what you're doing. Like you're gaining experience and you're learning. Don't set out to make a bunch of money. You're not gonna make money. If that's like your goal, you might as well be a company. Like there's no point in you being independent. Like you're your business then. Like anybody can make a shitload of money if they go and, make the next, what the fuck is that thing called? Like Farmville. Yeah. Like come on. Like that's a business. Like that's a on paper game design. Like you don't need to prototype that. I know how to addict people to a game. Like come on, like gambling. Yeah. Like it's easy. And they know it's easy and they're doing it. That's how you make money. Like if you want to make money like that, you can. But that's not game design. That's not a game. Like that's business structure. Right. If you want to make games and you want to get good at making games, don't worry about making money. Worry about learning and getting better. The money will come eventually if you decide to continue. Mm-hmm. But if you're like going in thinking that, I'm going to be the next Minecraft or Limbo or whatever, no one knows the real stories. Like no one knows that like Limbo was in development for like 7+ years and invested almost as much money as they've made. Like it's like no one hears about the failures of right. Like I worked on that game. I worked on Serious Peach for 3 years and ended up making like $3,000 off of it when it came out and it sucked. Why? Because like I held on to it, and even though it was one of my first games, I really wanted to finish it, and it was this big ambitious project, and it turns out it wasn't even that ambitious, but back then like it was an insanely ambitious project for me to work on. And I'm surprised it even saw the light of day. And I actually kind of regret that it does because it sucks. Like it wasn't good, and it's an embarrassment. It was what I was doing 3 years before. Like in that amount of time, it was like, wow, I've learned a lot, but I haven't applied it to the game that I'm currently working on, that I worked 3 years on, and that sucks. Yeah. And a lot of people make that mistake, and sadly, it's not as prominent as the successes of like. It seems to everybody, Notch made his first game and made bazillions of dollars on it. But no, he made a lot of games before that. No one knows about those games.
Right. That doesn't grab the head.
No, it's like, it's the lottery thing, I heard so-and-so won the lottery, so I better play every day. Like, just take your time. Like, take your time and enjoy it. That's what should be number one. It shouldn't be money. If it's money, just get a job somewhere. Like, get a job at a company. Get a job at PopCap or wherever. Right. Money's there. You can make money. But if you want to really make good games, focus on the games and don't worry about the money. I even like somebody emailed me the other day saying like, hey, I'm working on my first game. I've been working on it for a year. It's a big RPG. I'm wondering if I should release it for free or if I should try to contact Steam and get it on Steam. Like, number one, it's not going to get on Steam. Like, they don't know who you are. They're probably not going to even respond to your emails. Like, you have no name for yourself. You have no proof that your game is even worthy of being looked at. Like, they're not going to look at the thousands of games people submit to them every day via email. It's like, it shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should be, if this is your first game, your goal should be, I really hope a lot of people play it. That's number one. Like, that's all like, for the first, I don't know how many games, I didn't make any money off of the first maybe 7 or 8 games that I ever made. And it was all about, oh man, I hope people like this. I hope a lot of people play it. That's all I really cared about. And that's like one of the reasons why like we do, when we put Super Meat Boy in the Humble Bundle, I think like you end up making like 33 cents per copy that we actually sell or whatever. And people are like, well, that's stupid. Like, why you're losing money or whatever. Right. But no, like, I want people to play. Like, that's why I don't fucking care if you steal my games. Like, I made them to be played, and if you're legitimately, you know, too poor or can't get them in your country or whatever else, then by all means, I don't care if you steal from me. I'm fine. Like, that's totally cool. Like, do what you got to do, and if you really like it, buy my next game. You know, I don't care. Like, I want people to play. It's the whole point. Like, that's the whole point of I'm doing this. I want people to experience what I spent time on. You know, and that should be the #1 priority. And if it's not, there's a good chance that you're not going to make it, because you're not going to stay happy enough to continue. Like, there's a lot of bullshit that is just involved. Like, you'll be bashed in the press, you'll be hated, you'll be all these things. You'll have a lot of ups and downs, and you better be in love with what you're doing, or it's just going to feel like a big kick in the ass the whole time. Yeah. And it's not going to feel worth it in the slightest.